Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we are continuing on with the fanfiction Idiots Swipe Left by keraekun. Chapter 4, The Wedding. Eijirou's breath hitches when he sees the space the wedding ceremony is in. This will undoubtedly be the fanciest event he has ever attended. The ceremony and reception are happening on the rooftop of the hotel. When the elevator opens and he steps out into the space, he can see the entire city around him. Eijirou knows nothing about weddings. He's only been to a few in his life, but this has to be one of the most beautiful venues in the city. After seeing Katsuki in a tux, the skyline is the second most beautiful thing he's seen all day. There are lights strung up in a zigzag across the space, and ornate white chairs are evenly spaced leading up to an archway covered in greenery. Seeing the venue, he's thankful that Katsuki had given him a tux to wear. He would have been underdressed without it. There's no music or anything yet, but he can hear birds and noise from the city down below. Because he had come to drop off the ice for the wedding party, he is awkwardly early, especially for someone who's just a guest. He almost wishes he had brought his switch or something. He walks over to the edge, thankful not to be afraid of heights, and looks out across the city. It feels like Eijirou's entire world has shifted in less than 24 hours. The idea that he's suddenly in a relationship is sinking in. He hopes he can be the man that Katsuki deserves. Would they have even met if T hadn't forced him to download that stupid app? He's not sure how long he spends staring out at the skyline, but eventually he's startled from his thoughts by the dinging of the elevator, followed by a high-pitched laugh. "Holy shit, Inko, there's no way that's him," he hears, turning around to be blinded by blonde hair and red eyes that are creepily similar to the one he spent most of the last day thinking about. Shit. He knew that Bakugo's family was going to be here, but he had assumed they would meet after the reception, when he could be with Katsuki, not alone and with so much time to kill before the ceremony started. Next to the woman, who is obviously Bakugo's mother, stands a woman with green hair, much like one of the grooms-to-be. She's wiping tears from her eyes, and Eijirou hopes they're happy ones. He walks over to the two women, rifling through his pockets. "Ma'am, would you like a tissue?" he asks, gently holding out a fresh pack of Kleenex. "I always get a little teary-eyed at weddings, so I made sure to bring some with me," he said sheepishly. The blonde woman cackles loudly again as the one with green hair smiles back and grabs some of the tissues from Eijirou's hand, blotting her face with them and sniffing lightly. "No way that brat scored someone as good-looking as you, and you're a total sweetheart. Masaru is going to lose his shit when I tell him. Turn around, kid. Let me see how the tux fits." The woman immediately puts her hands on Eijirou's shoulders, spinning him around. "I told that damn brat he should have given me more time, but it doesn't look half bad. Name's Mitsuki, by the way. The blubbering mess over there is Inko." Eijirou sputters, "It's nice to meet you. Oh, I know exactly who you are, Kirishima. You're a personal trainer. I looked you up." "Go easy on the boy, Mitsuki. You'll scare him off," Inko admonishes her friend. "Thank you for the tux, Mrs. Bakugo. I've never had one before." He rubs the back of his neck with his hand and shifts on his feet uncomfortably. Time passes. Katsuki thinks he's going to strangle the next motherfucker that asks him to pose for a picture. He's standing smushed between Deku and Pink Cheeks, who has to leave between every shot to pee. Katsuki knows she can't help it, but it's slowing shit down. He's halfway through a countdown from 10, his poor attempt at grounding himself, when Iida fusses at everyone to change their positions slightly. He's been so busy being annoyed that he realizes there are two people missing. "Psst, Deku, where the fuck did our moms go?" he whispers, jabbing his elbow into the groom's-to-be's side. "Oh, the photographer said we were done and they could go ahead up to the ceremony space. Someone showed my mom the pictures from me and Shou's first look, and she couldn't stop crying," Deku mumbles, before smiling brightly at the camera. The same place where Katsuki sent his no longer fake, very real boyfriend to wait. Shit. He's distracted for the entire rest of the photos. He's sure He's grimacing in every shot. Hopefully, his mom isn't too hard on the redhead. Regardless, he needs to focus. Anyone would be an idiot not to instantly be smitten by Eijirou, his mother included. Once the pictures are over, they have only a short break before the wedding party needs to get to the ceremony. Katsuki spends most of that time pacing back and forth while fussing over how everyone looks, admonishing anyone who dared to try and snack before cocktail hour. He didn't want there to be any crumbs or stains on anything before the ceremony. When the time comes, Katsuki finds himself cramped into an elevator with Deku, Momo, Todoroki, Fuyumi, and her daughter. The 6-year-old had behaved well enough during the pictures, but now she's wailing. Her hands are gripping a small white basket full of flower petals, like her life depends on it. Some flower girl she turned out to be. The bride is getting tears all over her bright blue dress, and her face is covered in bright red patches. They aren't unlike the red splotches in her hair that she no doubt inherited from her mother. If Katsuki ever gets married, he's banning children. Would Eijirou be okay with that? The thought flashes across his mind before he can stop it. Not that he can really even process what's going on in his mind with a screaming child in the background. Fuyumi is doing the best to calm the child. She sighs loudly before turning towards the group. I'm so sorry. She's afraid of heights, and she knows the ceremony is up on the roof. Rini, it's okay. Kachan here is afraid of heights too, Deku says, doing his best to crouch down to the girls' level in the crowded elevator. Upon hearing this, Katsuki elbows Deku in the gut. What the fuck? Like fuck I am. I ain't afraid of anything, nerd. Katsuki rolls his eyes and Deku stomps on his foot. The blonde winces in surprise. See, Rini? Kachan pretends he's all big and brave, but he's scared right now, too. Aren't you, Kachan? Deku says through his gritted teeth. Much to Katsuki's disdain, the trick seems to work on the kid. Really? She pauses her crying momentarily to look up at Katsuki and her soon-to-be uncle with wide eyes. Yeah, kid, I get scared all the time. The trick is to pretend you're the best even when you're terrified. That's what makes you brave, he says begrudgingly. Deku owes him big time after today. Like All Might? She says, sniffling. Huh. At least the kid has good taste. He guesses he can help her out, but only for the sake of not having to hear her cry through the entire ceremony. You like All Might too, huh? He asks before pulling out a small All Might keychain from his pocket and unlatching it from the front of his keys before handing it to her. That's of his Golden Age keychain. If she breaks it, you're buying me a new one. He mutters to Deku. Her tears have disappeared by the time the elevator dings, setting them free. The peace doesn't last long, though. She starts crying again the moment the wedding party is ushered to line up in a corner on the edge of the roof. They are hidden from the view of the crowd that has gathered seated in the chairs laid out leading to the archway. The plan had been for Fuyumi to walk first behind the flower girl, making sure she made it down the aisle. She would be followed by Bakugo and the rest of the wedding party. Lastly would be Todoroki and Deku. They had decided to just walk each other down the aisle together, traditions be damned. It looks like their plan might not be possible at the present moment, though. Katsuki can hear the musicians starting to play the entrance song. Shit. I don't wanna. She squeals, pushing her mother away and grabbing onto Katsuki's pant leg. He feels his eyebrows shoot up in surprise, and he makes eye contact with Deku, who's giving him a pleading look. Katsuki pauses for a moment, taking a big, deep breath before swooping down to pick the child up, balancing her on his hip. All right, kid, it's you and me. Even if we're scared, let's be the best flower girls for Uncle Deku and Uncle Sho, all right? He says, taking one of the petals from the basket and bopping the bride's nose with it. He takes another breath before he marches out, leading the charge down the aisle with the flower girl on his hip. She's shy at first, but when Katsuki takes the first bunch of petals and throws them down on the ground, she is quick to join him. By the time they reach the end of the aisle, she's giggling and tossing petals from the basket. Katsuki goes to set her down gently, when they make their way to the archway, but she clings to him like a cat scrambling back into his arms the moment she tries to put him down. The large crowd in front of them laughs. Katsuki gives in to his fate, bouncing her a little as he moves to stand in his spot, closely followed behind the rest of the wedding party, including Fuyumi, who looks apologetic. There's a moment of pause once the bridesmaid and groomsmen are all up front by the archway. The music pauses for a moment before changing to Deku and Todoroki's entrance song. That's when Katsuki sees Eijirou. He's sitting right between her and his father. Eijirou had this unreadable look on his face, and his mom was smirking. He clings a little closer to Rini, no longer sure who was comforting who. They stay that way for the entirety of the ceremony. Katsuki sways back and forth with the kid absently as he listens to Deku and Todoroki's vows. He decides not to look over at his family and Eijirou again, opting instead to stare directly at the grooms. Deku spends a lot of time taking care of other people, and he deserves to be taken care of by someone too. Katsuki has seen firsthand how the light in Deku's eyes changed after he met Todoroki. He and the green-haired idiot had been through a lot together, and he was glad to see his friend be as happy as he deserves. "Don't cry, Mr. Kachan," the kid on his hip whispers, wiping a stray tear with her finger the way Katsuki had done to her earlier. "I pronounce you married," the officiant's voice chimes out. When Deku and Todoroki kiss, the crowd cheers, and Katsuki jokingly covers Rini's eyes. "Look away, kid. It's gross." They both laugh, and Katsuki swings Rini around to sit up on his back, carrying her piggyback style as they follow the newlyweds back down the aisle. Time passes. Eijirou would do anything to protect Katsuki. That's all he can think about when he sees the blonde walking down the aisle, the flower girl on his hip. It's too sweet for words. He knew Katsuki was special, knew he was more than what people gave him credit for at first glance, but his heart had not been prepared to see him with a kid. Is it possible to miss someone when you're both in the same room? It must be because that is how Eijirou feels right now, watching Katsuki stand by the archway swaying back and forth with a kid who must be related to Todoroki somehow. Throughout the entire ceremony, Eijirou is doing everything he can to stay in his seat, holding himself back from running over to the man that he was lucky enough to be actually dating. He can't be in love with him already, can he? It's so fast. It's making the redhead feel dizzy almost. Shit, he doesn't even listen to a single word of the ceremony. He's so enamored by Katsuki, looking incredible in his tux. The gruff man being so soft, so publicly. It's too much. Eijirou feels proud that he is the one that Katsuki had chosen to bring to the wedding. He's never wanted to take care of someone like he wants to take care of Katsuki. Never met someone he could see a future with before. But he can see flashes of it now. He doesn't even know if he wants kids, but he lets his mind wander. Saturday morning soccer games, family dinners, waiting in the car rider line after school. He wants a life with Katsuki, a partnership. Eijirou wants to give everything to Katsuki. He wants to take care of the blonde. He wants to understand him, to see him and be seen by him. Most of all, he wants Katsuki to see himself the way Eijirou sees him. He's sure the blonde's parents tell him he's staring, but he doesn't care. At least, if they notice, neither of them is saying anything. They were very nice, Katsuki's parents. Mitsuki seemed a bit intense at first, but so does Katsuki after all. He liked her. She was spunky, but caring at the same time. His dad was quiet, but Eijirou had managed to get a few laughs out of the guy. Meeting them made him wonder how Katsuki would like his own parents. He had never really given much thought to what his moms would think of a partner before. It's scary how fast he's fallen for someone. He didn't think it was possible. When the ceremony ends and cocktail hour begins, Eijirou watches with soft eyes as Katsuki is finally able to hand the flower girl back to her mother, who is apparently Todoroki's older sister. The blonde is quickly surrounded by other people and swept away before Eijirou can make a move. Katsuki's parents had gone off to talk with Inko, so Eijirou is left to grab a drink on his own for a moment. He feels nervous all of a sudden. The intensity of his own feelings has surprised him. He feels scared in a way he hadn't earlier that day. He feels vulnerable, and he doesn't want to scare Katsuki away by coming on so strong so quickly, but also he doesn't trust himself to hold back. He's staring down into his drink over at a table off to the side, deep in thought, brainstorming all the things he wants to do, all the ways he wants to make Katsuki happy. Suddenly, he feels someone appear at his side and a forehead press into his shoulder. "Hey, beautiful. You should have told me you were going to be a flower girl and a best man." "Yeah, well, that damn brat gave me no choice," Katsuki huffs before taking a sip out of Eijirou's drink. "It was sweet. I didn't know you'd be so good with kids," Eijirou says, unable to hide his smile. Katsuki laughs at that. The sound is ugly and loud. "I didn't know either. She's not so bad for a kid, I guess." "Kiss me?" the blonde asks, his hand moving to cup Eijirou's cheek. Eijirou pulls him close without hesitation. He kisses Katsuki like they were the only two people up on the roof. "I'm not supposed to be out here," Katsuki says, leaning back a little before moving back to kiss Eijirou's cheeks. "I need to." Eijirou cuts him off with another kiss. He knows the wedding party was supposed to be off somewhere to take more pictures during cocktail hour. They would be back for the reception, but an hour feels like forever when the blonde looks as good as he does. "What do you need, baby?" Eijirou smirks before moving down to kiss Katsuki's neck. He moves his hands lower, down the blonde's body, and pushes a hand between the man's legs. "Fucking damn it, eh?" Katsuki practically growls at him, his voice dropping a few octaves. "Baku babes, I hate to cockblock, but Midoriya, totally needs you." Kami walks up behind them, and the two break apart quickly. The blonde pouts, like a child when he's forced to pull himself away from Eijirou for the second time that day. His eyebrows furrow and his bottom lip sticks out. Eijirou wants to bite it. "I haven't done enough shit for that nerd this weekend," Katsuki grumbles before stalking off with Kami, taking Eijirou's drink with him. Eijirou watches him walk away with longing eyes before turning back to get himself a new drink to replace the stolen one. He wanders into the crowd searching for Mina and Sero when he finds them. Mina has her face stuffed with cheese. She has a drink in one hand and Sero's in the other. "Kiri, your hair looks so good," she chirps, mouthful of food. "Thanks, Katsuki did it for me." Kirishima smiles. Mina's face changes at the mention of the man, and she looks like she's thinking hard about something before she looks Eijirou in the eye. "I just wanted to apologize for what I said to you last night again, especially after seeing him during the ceremony with the flower girl. I think I misjudged him, and I wasn't being fair to you. I'm excited to get to know him more. Tetsu says you have to bring him the next time we hang out." "Yeah, he's pretty jealous that you guys knew him first," Eijirou chuckles, rubbing a hand up and down his neck. Eijirou is able to relax into cocktail hour pretty quickly. The band that they got to play is pretty good, and the sunset over the city is gorgeous. At some point, Mina waves over a girl with purple hair and ear gauges who said that she was there with Todoroki's maid of honor. They fall into conversation easily, and Eijirou feels a weird weight off his shoulders after hearing from Mina. Soon enough, the band stops playing, and there is an almost too loud voice over the speaker. "Who's ready to party?" the DJ shouts. The DJ introduces himself as Presentation Michael and instructs the guests to move to the other side of the roof and find their seats for the reception. As Eijirou follows the crowd, he can see that the ceremony space has been transformed into a space to eat dinner and dance. Round tables with large centerpieces and candles are strategically placed around the dance floor. There's a large display with a seating chart for the reception, and he stands for a moment with his head cocked to the side, scanning for his and Katsuki's names. He smiles when he notices that they're sitting with Ochako, Iida, Jirou, and Momo. Jirou, so that's the girl with the gauges he had just been speaking to. He waves her over, and they walk to the table together. She's sort of quiet, but nice to talk to. "What did you think of the vows, Kirishima?" she asks when they get to the table. "Oh, I thought they were really beautiful," he says, fully aware that he had been too busy staring at Katsuki to hear a word anyone said during the ceremony. "Hey man, you must be Katsuki's boyfriend. It's funny, you and Jirou are talking. Did you know people are taking bets on which one of you are going to catch the bouquet tonight? My money is totally on you, by the way." Jirou rolls her eyes before hitting the man who had come up to them with her purse. He's short and has bright yellow hair. He smells like he's had plenty to drink already. "You're exhausting, Kaminari. No one cares about your stupid bets or who's going to propose next." Eijirou feels his face flush. "Propose? Katsuki and I just started. We couldn't, he sputters, panicking. "You just started dating? Kachan told us about you a while, though. How long have you been dating exactly?" Shit, Eijirou messed up. He wasn't even sure how long he and Katsuki were supposed to have been together. Obviously, he can't give the true answer. He can't say that they had just officially started dating that morning. "Well, all right, boys, girls, and those of you who know better than to exist within the gender binary, can I have your attention, please?" The DJ's voice rings out, saving Eijirou from making a fool of himself. Apparently, at fancy weddings, they do something where they introduce the entire wedding party and the newlyweds at the start of the reception. Mina had explained it to him earlier. It was why Katsuki got pulled away before. The DJ starts off by introducing Inko and a woman who he assumes is Todoroki's mother. Eijirou notices that neither of the grooms has a father present. "Looking good, Inko!" he hears Mitsuki yell from her table. She has a wild grin on her face that looks way too similar to the one he's seen on Katsuki's face. Iida and Ochako are next, followed by Fuyumi, Natsuo, and Momo. Each pair does a little dance when they get to the middle of the dance floor. Natsuo walks in and takes a shot in front of everyone, and the crowd cheers loudly. The DJ's voice booms loudly. "Next up, we have everyone's favorite flower girl and best man combo. Let's give it for Rini Todoroki and Katsuki Bakugou." Eijirou is sure his heart skips a beat. The song changes and Katsuki steps out onto the dance floor with the flower girl, who seems more confident than earlier. She walks on her own this time. Both Katsuki and the kid are wearing sunglasses. Katsuki has a bubble gun in his hand. He uses the other to twirl the girl around as they pose together, back to back with their arms crossed before they leave the dance floor. Katsuki pulls down his sunglasses and throws a wink to Eijirou. The blonde has this smirk on his face that's driving Eijirou absolutely wild. His boyfriend saunters over to the table, joining the rest of them and taking his seat at Eijirou's side. He tosses the bubble gun down uncaringly before grabbing Eijirou's hand. Time passes. Katsuki is on edge. He made it through his entrance with the kid, but now that he's back in the crowd, it's so damn loud. It's been a long day, and he still has to give his best man speech. He snatches off the sunglasses he had on when he walked in, and his eyes scan the room. There are so many people, and even though he knows almost all of them, it's still making him feel uneasy. He feels better as soon as he makes it back to Eijirou's side and is unable to stop himself from immediately grabbing a hold of the redhead's hand. "All right, cats and kittens, please stand and give it up for the newlyweds, Izuku and Shouto Midoriya." Katsuki scoffs. Half and half would take the nerd's name. When he stands, Eijirou immediately grabs a hold of his waist. He's too sweet for words, and Katsuki hasn't been able to stop thinking about him all day. He was so lucky to have downloaded that shitty app when he did. Deku and Todoroki, who is no longer Todoroki, enter the room and head out to the dance floor holding hands. Katsuki doesn't think he's ever seen a bigger smile on the nerd's face, and he can see tears in his eyes. Even Shouto, who rarely has any sort of expression on his face, is lit up like a Christmas tree. Could he be that happy someday? Katsuki looks over at Eijirou, only to find that the man is already staring at him. What is he thinking about? "You all right, baby?" Eijirou asks, lifting his hand up to push some of Katsuki's hair behind his ear. "I'm fine. Just nervous is all." Nervous? Oh, for your speech. You'll do great, princess. I'll be here the entire time, Eijirou coos as they take their seats. Iida chokes on a glass of water he had been drinking. Did you just call him Got a problem with it, glasses? Katsuki gives the man a hard stare. He doesn't need people giving him shit right now. Maybe he liked the pet names a little bit. So what? Maybe he likes being taken care of more than he thought he would. He's never really had someone willing to do it before, and he can't help but lean into it, shitty pet names and calloused hands and all. They start serving food, and it's not so shitty for catering food. Katsuki has insisted on having a say in which company the nerd and Shouto hired, and he's glad for that now. Watching Eijirou eat a steak is sexy and disgusting at the same time. President Mike's voice booms out over the crowd, asking that people continue to eat, but also asking if they could turn their attention to the dance floor, where a microphone has been set up. Inko is the first person to give a speech. Well, she's the first person to try to give a speech anyway. She cries the entire time. So much so that no one can understand her. At least, it's not a hard act to follow, Katsuki thinks. When it's his turn to stand up, Eijirou brushes his lips across Katsuki's knuckles before he stalks off to the dance floor, adjusting the height of the mic some. His eyes roam around the room of familiar faces. Rini gives him a small wave from her spot by her mother, and Kami gives him a thumbs up. His mother gives him a smirk. He pulls the small piece of paper he had written on that morning out of his small pocket of his lapel of his jacket, shifting his feet a little. Someone somewhere coughs, and Katsuki feels like a little kid. All the eyes in the room are on him. He gulps. Izuku, you're one of the biggest idiots I've ever met. The crowd shifts uncomfortably, and Katsuki avoids looking directly at anyone. You're reckless. You never stop to think before diving in. You unapologetically take these huge leaps of faith without thinking through what the consequences might be. I've watched you our whole lives. No matter what happens, you never change. You move on instinct, and I would be lying if I said I didn't admire that about you. I would be lying if I said that the rest of us couldn't learn something from watching you. Katsuki can feel his hands shake a little as he holds the paper in his hands. He can feel his heart beating in his chest. So listen up, nerd, because I'm only going to say this once. Thank you for teaching me that diving in headfirst can be worth the risk, for showing me that sometimes it's better to discover what life has to offer rather than try to anticipate or worry about all the bad things that can happen. I won't forget the look on your face the first time you told me about the guy with the cool hair you met at work one day. Your smile was so bright, it was disgusting. When I met Shouto, I thought he brought out the best parts of you. I watched him take care of you in ways that I couldn't. You showed me, both of you showed me, the ways in which another person can push someone forward to be the best version of themselves. You showed me that it's not a weakness to need to be taken care of. It's actually a strength to allow yourself to be seen by someone. Sometimes there's more risk in staying the same than there is in doing the thing that seems scary. I learned that from you, Izuku. I'm proud to be the best man of someone like you, who charges in without thinking, who puts others first, who loves with their entire heart, even if it means it could get broken. Congratulations, Izuku, on taking the risk. I hope it inspires all of us to take our own. Katsuki takes a deep breath and bows his head to the newlyweds. When he looks at them, he sees that Shouto is the one crying this time. Izuku, on the other hand, is looking at Katsuki like he just challenged him. He has a determined look in his eyes and a wild grin. The room is dead silent for a moment before someone somewhere cheers and everyone starts clapping. Katsuki isn't sure if he feels proud or embarrassed, but he shoves the awkward combination of feelings down and trudges back to his table. He wants to hide behind Eijirou for the rest of the night. He had put a lot of work into the weekend, and being so publicly vulnerable was exhausting. When he gets back to the table, he falls into Eijirou immediately. Katsuki, Eijirou stutters. Shut up. They're about to cut the cake, and I know that's the real reason you're here. Katsuki teases, not wanting to acknowledge how mushy he had been in his speech. Katsuki wonders if Eijirou can tell that the speech was, in part, inspired by him. I don't want to hear a thing about it from you idiots, he huffs at the table, cheeks flushing red. Do you think that it's buttercream? Eijirou asks with wide eyes, glazing at the tiered cake that the newlyweds were slicing into like it was a Greek statue. It's a chocolate raspberry truffle cake. I think there are cupcakes somewhere, too. Katsuki gruffs, rolling his eyes. Don't roll your eyes. I'm only a man. Eijirou chuckles before hurrying out of his chair to grab a piece of cake, dragging Katsuki by the arm. Katsuki intertwines their fingers, accepting his fate to stand at the ever-growing cake line with the sweet idiot, who he had more feelings for than he wanted to admit. He presses a kiss to the side of Eijirou's forehead. Your speech was beautiful, baby, the redhead says, returning the kiss Katsuki had given him with one of his own, pressing his lips into Katsuki's temple. You think so? Baby, you did the world a favor by giving that speech today. Katsuki's face flushes. I don't think I know that much about love. I didn't know what to say. I've always been ahead of him. Izuku, but not when it comes to relationships. Katsuki is stuttering. He knows he is, but there's something about the way Eijirou is looking at him. There's something hidden in his voice. I don't either, Katsuki, but I want to find out. With you. I want to take that risk. The one that you just talked about. Eijirou doesn't say anything else, but Katsuki swears there are words he's not saying. They grab their cake and return to their seats, just in time to watch the first dance. The song Deku picked was shitty, but it's not so bad to watch. Katsuki is grateful for the distraction. After the first dance, the grooms do a dance with each of their moms as well. Katsuki thought it was a nice touch. When they finish, Present Mike's voice booms, inviting everyone else to come out onto the dance floor. Across the table, Iida is quick to offer a hand to Ochako, pressing his hand into the small of her back as she waddles out onto the dance floor. Momo and Jirou follow them. When Katsuki's eyes catch Eijirou's, the man looks nervous. He has cake on his nose. Katsuki licks his thumb and swipes it away without thinking. Listen, princess, I'm really bad at... Shut up and take me out there already. Katsuki's yelling is drowned out by the loud music, and he drags Eijirou out onto the dance floor. The song playing is jazzy and upbeat, but not what he would have expected or what he would have chosen, but it's fun. Eijirou sways his hips out of tune, and they dance in a circle with the wedding party. At some point, Izuku bounces over toward him. His childhood friend pulls him close. Thank you, Kachan, for everything, he says low and right into Katsuki's ear. It's whatever, nerd. Katsuki answers back, leaning down a little to get close enough to him to hear over the music. He watches Izuku's eyes flicker over to Eijirou. Mina is trying to teach the redhead how to do a body roll. He's awful at it. You love him, don't you, Kachan? Izuku whispers with a knowing smile. Shit, it's too soon for that. But Izuku doesn't know that. Somehow, the nerd figured it out before Katsuki had, and when he watches Eijirou try to twerk on the dance floor, he looks like a fish. Katsuki knows for sure. He loves him. Instead of an answer, Katsuki decides to stick a finger in his mouth and promptly shove it in his best friend's ear. Stay out of my business, you damn nerd. Yuck, Kachan, damn it, Izuku squirms. Katsuki shoves the nerd away when he hears the music go soft all of a sudden. A slow song blasts over the speakers, and Katsuki and Eijirou reach for each other at the same time. Eijirou's hands press into Katsuki's lower back, and Katsuki grabs onto the redhead's shoulders. Somehow, it feels like they're the only two people in the crowded room. Katsuki puts his head on Eijirou's shoulder, and he can hear the man singing along to the song. His voice is even worse than his dancing. Katsuki finds it really comforting. Time passes. Eijirou is on the dance floor with Katsuki. There's a slow song on, and he's trying to press himself as close as possible to the blonde. It felt electric to hold him like this. It's his favorite part of the night, even better than the cake. He's singing along to the song playing and running his hand up and down Katsuki's back. Katsuki, I can feel your heart beating. It's a stupid thing to say, but it's the only thing he can think about at that moment. You nervous, baby? Eijirou teases, laughing under his breath. Shut up, you idiot, Katsuki says, his voice muffled. Hey now, didn't your profile say idiots shouldn't swipe right on you? Yeah, well, I was only supposed to pretend to be dating an idiot. Like you, Katsuki says without heat. The blonde lifts his head off Eijirou's shoulder and presses a kiss into the side of Eijirou's neck that sends a shiver down his spine. Only pretending, huh? That didn't last too long, did it, princess? Eijirou laughs and plants a kiss on the top of Katsuki's head as they sway. Katsuki's hair is soft on his face. I liked it better when you were singing instead. Katsuki huffs, mumbling into Eijirou's shoulder. As the song finishes, they pull apart slightly, and Eijirou can't help but bring a hand to Katsuki's cheek before pulling him in for a kiss. After he pulls away, he makes eye contact with Mitsuki, who he realizes has been watching them. He laughs awkwardly. She shouts at them, You sure know how to pick 'em, brat. Take good care of my boy, eh? What? Mom's already got a nickname for you, huh? Listen, it's not my fault I'm her favorite, baby. Eijirou chuckles, grinning wildly, and throwing a wave over at Mitsuki. He's really happy. The wedding reception might be one of the best nights he's had. He doesn't know what the future will bring, but he does know that he wants to find out. He knows he doesn't want to have any regrets, so he's planning on diving headfirst without looking back. He's glad that he was an idiot who swiped right, even if it went against Katsuki's bio on that dating app. Time passes. Izuku is sitting at the head table with Shouto. It's his wedding day, and it could not have gone more perfectly. It was beautiful to have all the people he cares about most in the world in all the same place at once. He's so proud of the family he's found in Shouto. He knows he should be focused on his extremely handsome husband, but he finds his eyes keep wandering over to Katsuki. He's watching him sway back and forth with Kirishima in awe. He had suspected as soon as he met the redhead, but it became so clear to him while listening to Katsuki give his speech at the reception. He doesn't even know if Katsuki knows it yet, but Izuku does. Those two are meant for each other. It has to be Kirishima. When he throws his bouquet that night, he makes sure it's Katsuki that catches it. All right, friends, thank you so much for joining me for Chapter 4. We have one chapter less, so I hope that I'll see you next time for that last piece.